Carmen McRae was very particular about piano accompaniment. I had suitable experience with singers prior to joining her, but because she was one of our most prominent vocalists, also a pianist with experience and the desire to teach me, I was especially blessed. I joined her trio in 1961, and I gave her my notice to leave in the summer of 1969. I put no time limit on my notice, and it was December of that year when she told me to proceed with my plans. It was an especially difficult separation. There was some bitterness for about 7 years, and for a while she did not use piano at all. We came to a warm reunion during a period of time that I was accompanying Miss Anita O'Day. And then later, in Perugia, Italy, while I was with Joe Williams, we had this inspired interview discussing accompaniment and remembering some of our joyous past relationships. Where are we anyway? In Perugia. In Perugia, or it's Umbria Jazz Festival.
In Italy.
And this hotel is the
What's the name of this hotel? Brufani.
For the Brufani, yes. I'm talking to Carmen McRae here. The first thing I would like to know, Carmen, is your family was from the island, right?
Yeah.
What island?
From Jamaica. My father was born in Kingston, and my mother was born in a little town called Port Antonio in Jamaica.
And you lived in Chicago for a while, didn't you?
Yes, I went to Chicago with a certain gentleman, we'll leave nameless, we were heavy hanging out. We're going to get married and stuff, but I wanted to. I had been married once before to Kenny Clark, and he and I, of course.
This was after Kenny's moved to Chicago?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah, Kenny. I got a divorce in Chicago from Cleveland.
Oh, you have?
Uh-huh.
What year was that music in Chicago?
48. I went.
48.
And what was the name? What was the name of that alto saxophone player? Redheaded cat was with Earl Hines and lived in Chicago and became a lawyer. Oh, you don't. Oh, God. Maybe his name will come to me, but he was my divorce lawyer. He was a saxophone player.
Uh-huh.
But he had given it up and became a lawyer. I don't think he's alive. But anyway, but then I found out I liked Chicago and I wanted to stay. And I broke up with Kirby, and so there was a girl who knew I played piano. This little bit of piano I played. And she said, "You ought to get a job." Anyway, make a long story short, she got me this job at a place called, my brain's not working today. It'll come to me maybe. Anyway, got me a job in this place. And I stayed there. I had a 2-week engagement with a 2-week option. I joined the union, the first union I joined. And I said, well, this man will keep me for 2 weeks and I'll have enough money to get back to New York.
Had you been singing before then?
Yes, I had worked with Merce Ellington's band long before, Count Basie's band, Betty Carter's band, And played at Mittens a couple of times. You know, but not really consistent. You know what I'm saying? The only thing, everything became consistent when I moved to Chicago and started playing piano. Archway was the name.
Archway,
was the name of the place that I got the job. Killer Johnson owned it. He was a sweet man, and he gave me this job, and I stayed there 14 weeks and never looked back since. And I worked everywhere in Chicago, playing intermission piano or playing piano in a bar that, you know, because music was very prominent in Chicago in the bars. Yes. And then all of a sudden, business dropped off, and people didn't want to, you know, where they had 3-4 pieces. You know, like in the Archway, they had like I think 3 or 4 pieces before, but they didn't want to dispense with the music completely. So they wanted to get one person who could play and sing, and you know, and that's what I lucked out like a son of a gun and worked there and when I saw I was going to be there, I went and hired a piano. I not, you know, rented a piano and just would listen to the radio and play shit.
The Archway was still there when I joined. We went back through there.
He was still around.
He was still there.
That's right.
But there was a drop off then. How it went down because it went down and up.
Well, because they didn't have any entertainment then. After all they had was jukebox.
Yeah, but you said a lot of the clubs had dropped off.
Well, because that was in '48.
Yeah, because when I was in high school then.
All right.
Just getting out of high school. Of course, that was right in the crack too. I always said I came up in the crack. Because by the time I came to crack around 48, around 50, I started to play around there. Around 1950 or so. And like all those heavies, Gene Ammons and them had all left. So I came up in the back end with Claude McLean. Claude McLean was the heavy. Yeah. So all of the happenings had kind of dropped off and were just beginning to kind of start up again. Junior was around it because I followed Junior Master, Claude McLean's band.
Was Junior Master from Chicago?
Yes. Junior and I, we were about the same. We used to play tennis together. And I followed, my big thing was when the Beehive started up. Of course, during that period of time, things were popping again.
Yeah, right.
Everybody was royal.
Everybody was going to the Club de Lisa.
Yeah.
That's the first place I heard Joe Williams.
Yeah, right. That's where I heard Joe Williams. Club de Lisa.
And then they had a show in they had chorus girls and stuff. And I used to stay in the when I first went to Chicago, I stayed in the Mansfield. You know the Mansfield?
Yeah.
Which is right next door to the hotel I'm trying to think of now. The big hotel where they had the show downstairs.
Yeah, the Persian?
The Persian, right. And I stayed in Mansfield. And then after I saw I was going to stay with George and I moved around to Maryland, which was not far from the Mansfield. And then he would go on the road, you know, and I'd stay in Chicago, hang out, and then I'd be waiting for the rent, and the rent wouldn't come, and I said, no, I can't make this. Let me go home. And Lula, who was a chorus girl, who incidentally I was a chorus girl at one time.
Oh yeah.
And I was a swing girl. This is the hardest job. I had never chorused before. And I was supposed to go to Atlantic City with this chorus group, and I was taking somebody's place, and the girl came back, so I didn't go, you know. And I was kind of bad because I was, you know, I said I never dance, but I said the dance because I had taken dance lessons when I was a kid. You know, when I was a kid, that was a fashionable thing. All kids went to.
Do you remember when we went down to Baltimore? And we danced on Take 5. That's the only time we ever danced together.
That's right.
We danced on Take 5 down there in
That's
Baltimore
right.
After Hour Club.
Yeah,
We're doing it too.
Oh, yes. No, you have a great memory. Yes, I do.
I remember that because that's the first time I saw Big Daddy Bibbs go. I didn't remember that I could decide why I took the piano. Because I went to Buddy Young when I went to school. Buddy Young was running all around there. And I thought I wanted to be
football player, right? Thank God.
I saw Big Daddy down there.
That's it. Yeah.
But Lurleen.
Yeah, I met that's where I met Lorraine. In fact, George Kirby introduced me to Lorraine. And she and I became very good friends, actually. When she got married, I became the godmother to her daughter, who is still in Chicago, Sian, and her father, who is married again. And I saw her after many, I didn't know what she looked like, because I hadn't seen her in years and years and years. And she came, the last time I was in Chicago, which wasn't so long. I saw her, she's a grown lady, beautiful. And anyway, after I worked in the Archway, I just got jobs all over Chicago, north side, south side, everywhere. And stayed there 3.5 years doing that.
What was this guy's name that had the after hour club where Larry worked?
Oh God, don't ask.
Yeah, like
There were too many after hour places. They have a
his
lot.
was down in the basement.
Yes, I know.
He used to come on all the clubs to see everybody and everything like that. He used to hang
I can't
down
remember
there.
his name at all. But it sure was jumping down there.
Oh, tell him.
Lord, in fact, Chicago was jumping.
In this Dreamliner.
Yeah.
Do you remember Ernie Harper too?
Oh,
She was on.
Actually, California.
And still now, even when I went to Chicago, I went up to Chicago Festival, and we stayed up at the Hyatt. And they had.
Was he playing there?
No. He's died, you know.
Oh, that's right. He did. That's his brother's still alive.
Yeah, in Pittsburgh, yeah.
I
But Chicago has a lot of good solo. There's a lot of players, solo players, play and sing and stuff. I was in even the white ones. I was in the Hyatt, and downstairs in the Hyatt, they had continuous playing. I went in there when I came in to check in. They had a group there that had a piano player and a guitar player who had his guitar on a synthesizer. Then they had like 4 violin players and
really,
yes, and they were playing Night in Tunisia.
I love it. I love it.
I tell you, Chicago was always, you can always get some work there, you know.
Yeah.
You don't hear about all those people, but the thing about all of the solo piano players play with a lot of rhythm and time, you know, and they can sing and everything. And still, you know, that's where it was, and there was a lot of people around there. What's his name? Green. And Ernie Harper, I used to love Ernie because Ernie was one of the piano players that could play and sing both.
That's right.
Except personality.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now that's a lot of things. Just constructing Chicago scene. What was? Oh yeah. When did you have your first exclusive accomplice?
Yeah. Well, let me see. I'll tell you. Let me go back a little bit. I was working, and I had decided after I had worked in Chicago. And people were saying, "Why don't you record? You have a nice voice and blah blah blah." Well, so I heard that so much that I knew that if I really wanted to record, I'd have to get out of Chicago. There was nothing going on there. So I came back home, you know, and my parents, I always keep a room for you, you know, when you're the only child. Don't care if you live 20,000 miles away. When you come back home, there's your room that's still there. So I went back to my people. They had bought this brownstone before I left to go to Chicago. In fact, that's where I left from to go to Chicago. So I came back and I went to work in Brooklyn, playing piano. And then I ended up with a job where I was intermission pianist for Matt Matthews Quintet, who was a guy from Holland who played accordion. Though that sounds a little square, I'm sure, but the accordion, he had designed this accordion himself, and it was just different than the average accordion with the keys, you know.
Art Van Dam were here.
Huh?
Art Van Dam.
Yeah, so he had nothing but buttons were on this thing. You really had to know what the hell you were doing.
No keys?
No keys. Wow. I don't know what he did. He had something. No keys. Anyway, he liked my voice. He thought I was fantastic. I thought he's crazy, but he thought I was great. So, and there was a man who was interested in that, in this group, because it was different. You know, it was accordion, guitar, drums, bass, and I don't know if you had a piano at that time. No, I'm sorry. My mind is going. I'm mixing it up with the Australian. I played with a group called the Australian Jazz Quintet or some kind of group. But Matt only had 4 pieces. Anyway, the guy wanted to put Matt on tape or whatever it was they were using in those days and sell it to a name company, right? So Matt talked this man said to him, as an instrumental, we will never make it unless we have a singer. So they got me to sing. So we went to the studio in Carnegie Hall, this recording studio, and the man who owned the recording studio dubbed me and started a record company, and that's how I started to sing, to make records. And that was in 1954, I think, 53. And so I've been making records ever since. And then you asked about my first accompanist. Then after I started making a little bit of money, I found Ray Bryant.
Was Ray the first one?
I took Ray out of Philadelphia. And he was my accompanist. And I had gotten married again by then to Ike Isaacs. And Ike and Ray.
How'd you find Ray? How'd you come to get it?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Somebody told me about it. Said there's a little dude in Philly that's mean. And I think we played one of those clubs in Philly. You know, what do you call them? They used to have one downstairs.
Yeah, wait a minute. It was the Peps.
Peps.
Peps was around the corner. The Peps.
I played there, yeah. Whatever that one.
Yeah.
And I think he came and played. And then he stayed with me for quite a while.
That was he did the Skyline, I think, right? Wasn't that on Ray Bryant's Skyliner?
Skyliner.
Oh, Ray Bryant didn't do Skyliner with you?
I don't think so. That was just a band. I don't think I had a piano player.
Oh, that was a band, then.
It was a big band.
Because I remember that.
He played it with me after he came with me, but I don't think I didn't have any group then.
I know, I must have heard you one because I identify Skyliner with Ray.
No, not really. I didn't have any accompanist then. You know, wherever I'd go to play, they would supply the accompaniment. And let me tell you something. I bless my mother and father to this day for giving me piano lessons because if it weren't for that, I would have maybe never made it. You know, to wherever, not that I was that great a piano player, but I was better than the ones that they hired for me, you know, that couldn't read, you know, and playing wrong changes. But you know how I love that.
Now that's a very strong transitional change for vocalists. That period of time when people begin to hire you out to make money for their rooms, and you have to go there and deal with local musicians, and you're trying to get your thing over.
I know. Yeah. If I was to tell you the time I worked Philly at what's the name? Blue Note? What's the Blue Note? I think it was Blue Note. It was called. And I was accompanied by Art Blakey. His group.
Yeah.
And you know how Art likes to do that thunder.
Yeah.
He said, whack! And I was doing a real sweet. I never forget, called Wanting You. Oh, fuck, I knew I was going to do that. Wanting You. And it was one of those tunes that was like the beginning of it was like a Spanish influence, you know, like I don't know what you'd call it.
Bolero or something?
You know.
Flamenco.
Not flamenco, but it was.
It wasn't the old tune. Yeah, that old tune. Yeah, that's it.
Every day I've been wanting, you know, that kind of a. And then it was after the first chorus, it goes into 4/4, right? And Art Blakey would go into 4/4. I can hear it now, yeah. But I loved it though.
Art was very identified.
Yes.
I know we did the big soul bash. We was sitting down thinking, who's got the soul? Who can we get the soul? Let's be all decided that Art Blakey had the soul. But Johnny said, yeah, but if we just gonna sound like Art Blakey's band,
That's right.
That's right. It's too identified.
Yeah, and right after Ray Bryant came Norman Simmons.
What?
That's right.
I don't believe. No. Yeah. Well, I can't.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Because I was playing. Remember I was playing the Apollo Theater, and Jaws.
Yeah.
Sent you up.
No, Jaws
and
sent me. Jaws didn't send me. That's why I got to reconstruct that because I don't.
Oh, I thought it was Jaws.
Jaws didn't send me. Well, Jaws.
No, you didn't send you. You came backstage to see something.
I came backstage to see Jaws and them.
Yeah.
When I came there, I was just leaving Riverside. I had that gig with Riverside after I had been with Johnny and them and did Johnny's album. Then I joined Johnny and Jaws. Yes. Yeah. And I went out with them, and Riverside called me in to do an arranging gig, and I left Johnny and Jaws to go in and do this gig with Riverside. It's just writing. Mm-hmm. And I was putting writing for the Woody Herman Band, which is the start of Woody's last herd, the one that was so modern and stuff.
We got to talking about how I met you. I thought it was too long.
Yeah, the part that surprised me was that I was a second. Because let me tell you something. I had heard, the first time, when it surprised me because it was a guy I was going to ask you about. Because I think the first time, and strangely enough, talking about a company, one of the first times I even heard you was with the soul with Don Adams.
Oh yeah.
Don Adams. How long has this been going on? I heard that thing on the radio, and even right then, the accompaniment. I mean, his playing just.
I mean, could he accompany what?
And he was one of the. I want to ask you about.
He was
I ran into Don in Tokyo, and I
let him go because he drank too much.
Yeah.
When he drank, the tempo would just go right into the ground. He just could not play. And he was an alcoholic, and it hurt me. But he was just not doing what he's supposed to do. And then he get evil.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You ever seen him over in Tokyo?
Yes,
I've seen it. I was supposed to do an interview with him because when we went to Tokyo and I saw him, I finally got to meet him. A girl I knew had been singing with him or something. I went over there, and when I heard him, because I kept trying to figure out what is this accompaniment? What is this they're talking about? Really, you know what I mean? I may have my idea because my idea I learned really you put the top of accompaniment for me. And because you're a whole school yourself, you know that. When I go to hear you and I see piano players, I can hear exactly what you're talking about. Especially with Marshall. I said, Marshall, I just,
I know, because I had to mold Marshall.
Yeah. Well,
Marshall was scared to play. And I said, Marshall, play. Mm-hmm. You know, I had to beg him, and finally he came through one day.
Well, that's when it was really defined for me. I had been playing for singers, but you were the one to define what a company was.
It's like all the other different shit.
That's right. Yeah. And
being a good soloist don't mean shit. It doesn't mean you can do a company.
Yeah. And the strange thing about it when this happened is that a lot of those kids that I'm dealing with in school now are interested in it, even from the standpoint of comedy. Got to the point where even in bands, piano players couldn't come. They couldn't make their stuff mean something and put it where it was supposed to be. They're just playing changes and playing, you know. Right. And I had a class of jazz with them. I said, what do y'all want to study? And they said, a compliment. You know? Yeah. And I've had cats come to me about it. So I said, I had my concept about it. You know, I sort of broke down what it was you taught me. And I said, but you know, what is it? And I went to hear Don. And when I heard
Don is perfect.
When I heard him, I knew what it was.
Yes,
I heard him. I said, that's what it is.
That's right.
And he can play too.
And play,
you know what I mean?
That's unusual, yeah.
And I said,
and modern, you know, they
that's right. That's right. I mean, he can play.
That's right.
And I said, gee whiz, now I could see what it was in.
Brilliant.
You know? And other singers, I realized that a lot of singers don't even know that they haven't had it until they get it. Mm-hmm. You know, right. I played for singers and they play around and they have piano players play for them, you know what I mean? And then I would play for them and all of a sudden they would see that difference. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden it's that feeling like I used to say to people who ask me, who's your favorite bass player? I would tell them Bob Cranshaw. Mm-hmm. I said, because when I play with Bob, he gives me the feeling that I can do anything I want.
Yes,
You
right.
know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you know, he's playing good
well,
too.
We had a good group, you know, with you and Bob and
yeah.
Whatever.
Well, that's how it came. We were talking about how I got there.
Bob Cranshaw.
That's right.
That's who mentioned you.
Did he recommend me to you?
Yeah.
I thought it was him.
I thought it was Jaws at first.
No, because now Jaws was my mentor. I was at here's an unusual thing. Going back to even back to when I heard you with Don and with Ray. That's right, because Ray was with I knew you were married to Ike. But you at that time when I was in Chicago, I had two ambitions to play with two singers, you and Dakota State. It's the only two singers I had ever wanted to play with. I could hear you and could tell. I said I could play with her. But then after I started coming to New York with Dakota, I played with her. And when I got to New York, I heard about your reputation. I played with her. You know? Yes, indeed, that scared me. So I was actually the Riverside thing at tapered, and I was coming over. Because Johnny told me, when you finish your job, and with these live, your job. But I didn't think I could get that job back from. But anyway, I was going to try anyway because I wanted to play. So I was coming to Apollo to see Jaws. To tell them that, hey, you know, when I get a chance, I'd like to join the group again. Because the Riverside thing was. Yeah. And I ran to Bob Cranshaw and Walter Perkins on the street, and they said they had just called my house. And I'm walking down the backstage of Apollo. I run smack that. We just got through calling your house. Carmen is a piano player. It's like, die me. So I wanted to see Jaws. Y'all said, yes, just y'all be perfect together.
Yeah.
And on Jaws' word, that's right. I gave one upstairs.
That's right.
That's right. On Jaws' word.
Yeah, that's right. See, but I'm only, a lot of people don't realize, which they think I'm only hard when it ain't right. You know, I'm not, I never considered myself impossible. You know, I considered myself, I knew what I wanted, and I wanted it. And I don't see what's wrong. If you don't get it, then you go somewhere else and look for it. Or you try to get it from the person that's there at the time. And if they don't have it, they just don't have it. You know, and I can tell that quickly. I don't need to listen to a whole 32 bars. You know, and the thing with the funny thing with Marshall was it was sneaking through every now and then. It would be. I said, "What are they playing at?" Then he played something. I said, "Oh, that's nice." And I wanted it, and I don't see what's wrong. If you don't get it, then you go somewhere else and look for it, or you try to get it from the person that's there at the time. And if they don't have it, they just don't have it, you know. And I can tell that quickly. I don't need to listen to a whole 32 bars, you know. And the thing with the funny thing with Marshall was it was sneaking through every now and then. It would be. I said, "What are they playing at?" Then he played something. I said, "Oh, that's nice," you know. So that's why, and he was scared. He was really nervous, and I could tell he was nervous. He was perspiring and smelling, and he never, because I know what that is. When you're scared, and you perspire, you start to smell, you know. And I said, I know what this is. This is all nervous shit. So I just tried to, you know, soothe him out, you know. And he stayed with me for 8 years, 8 or 9 years. Finally. But he wasn't the best accompanist either. But because sometimes he'd play some shit that I really didn't want to hear, you know. Yeah, how you doing? Yeah, that's all right. We just did running tape. We were running our mouths about 17 different minutes.
Would you like tonight to have a little variety? Would you like to play in another theater?
Okay.
See how you like it. There's an opera house here.
Earlier?
No.
Same time.
No. It's not air conditioned. Which is why I didn't, let him think about doing it before, because he told me about this being open air and he thought you'd like this. But there's this old opera
that you
Well, I don't know. That's their problem. Carlos said, "Hey, would you like to?"
Oh, well, I can see some people there. That's how they know who I am.
I don't know how the network works here, but they'll get it out if he's saying, "Hey, ask her if she wants to."
Well, I mean, if it's air conditioning in the air, and it's gonna be like it is now.
Yeah, well, that's what he said. He said, "I think it'll be all right tonight." He said, "Tomorrow it might be too hot."
Too hot. Okay.
So we go back to the other place. But he said, so I said, "Oh, okay." Maybe a little variety. Maybe fucked up. I mean,
can't be no more fucked up than that is as far as variety goes.
Well,
There's no variety.
We may have to start from square one, but sound system and shit. But
I ain't got nothing to do with that.
I know, but I mean, I'll go.
Get
on that.
The sound in that. I hope we're not going. Leaving perfection to go to this shit. The sound in that church is so good.
Yeah.
It's just marvelous. I love it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's a bit dangerous, but shit. I'll go over there.
Why did they get a little dangerous and put me on about 9 o'clock one night? How much danger does that take?
Hey, you want to be here that night when I call Carmen, go on 9 and actually. What?
No, long as I know. No. I don't know. Hey, long as I know. I don't want you to call me 6:30 and say you're going on at 9 o'clock.
Last night. So, well, how about me going on at 7 o'clock one night?
That's right.
I'm
not doing anything here. At 7 o'clock, what am I doing, Sherman? Sitting in this fucking chair. Or eating. Shit. I mean, there's nothing wrong with going on at 7 and getting off at 8:30 and being back in my hotel 9 and having to sit down and have a decent meal. Shit. Are you goddamn right? That's enough. That would be variety for me. I don't care that I just don't want to be told the same day I'm going on at 7. I'd like to be prepared. And just like you're coming in to see it this time to prepare me for this thing tonight, which is 12. It don't fucking matter. I could be playing out there. 12 o'clock is 12 o'clock. Don't matter.
Every time I see him, I'm still calling him Pierre.
That's right. That's what his name was.
That's right. Then Pierre.
That's right. When we was playing the
Yeah. But now you ain't use that no more. You Pierre no more.
No, but you know where they took that Clothier thing. That's where.
Clothier.
Well,
Clothier. He said Clothier.
Clothier. CLOTHIER.
Yeah, Clothier.
That's where Pierre came from. French. So now they took about 10 years ago. Some muckers in New York took the Clothier to Ragman.
Oh God!
I'm stuck with that now.
Yeah. Bubble gum.
All right, I'm gonna go check this shit out. And if this theater looks cool, we'll just switch to there and see what happens.
Yeah. Do you with a compliment? Is it mainly? I guess it is mainly the piano player, but you feel like drummers and bass players have
I feel like the bass player. The bass is my really favorite. All the time. Very hard to explain. The pianist, of course, it's really important. And there's no quibbling about that. But it's also got to be a good bass player that has puts the notes in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, this I knew. This I learned that too.
Yeah.
And this, I explained it when I explained it to the student. I explained to them this way. I said, for one thing, because come from the same format that you had taught me, I realized that because you like the bass, but I used to realize that because one thing, the bass and the voice are never going to cross over each other. Mm-hmm. So that allows a bass player a certain kind of freedom of movement. Plus, the whole story of the harmonics is told between your note and his note.
And his note, absolutely.
So if he knows how, so even in school, the one thing I like to teach.
And the bass player and the piano player have to know exactly what they're playing in reference to the voice or to the soloist.
Yes. And the piano player doesn't have to move because the piano player is laying right across your vocal thing. You understand what I mean? So right there, it's like pulse and harmony.
Mm-hmm.
Those two things that they're going to go. So I think that's, the space. The piano player don't have to run over because the space belongs to the singer.
That's right.
The space belongs to the singer. That's just people should be waiting to see what the singer is going to say, not switching over to find out what the piano player is doing. Right?
That's right.
The other thing I found out it was in the touch that it's more distinctive where you can serve it. I found out that's part that happens again when I listen to Don. And I sat there and I just felt like I could sing with him.
Yeah.
And I remember Jimmy Jones and people like that. And I remember when I used to play, people used to come and say, we could hear you more. We could hear you more. You play so good and everything like that. Jimmy, you be listening back there trying to hear what. And I realized that what happens with these players, they can play, but some players are playing to the audience, which means they're playing beyond the singer. They're directing it. You understand me? Whereas what he's playing is directed toward the singer. And that's as far as he has projected. So consequently, that little extra second that you can wait to delay to react is there because you're not just trying to project something, you're trying to say beyond the singer to the audience. So if it goes to the edge of the stage, that's as far as it's supposed to go.
That's right.
That's
right.
And that's what I detected was just in the catch. It had the right feel that just gives you that. And I was talking to your drummer last night because he sort of understood that we were talking about it too, about how the beat lands. It can't land. It can't land in such a precise way that the time is exactly subdivided at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And so the drummers is way when have to watch out.
That's right.
So he's talking about that. He can't do that. No. That's right. I remember when we did this gig with Ray Brown and Big Ben at Shelly Mann's. The first time we did it with Ray. Yeah.
Oh yes, I remember.
The first time we did it, we just had when Victor dropped out and we called Ray, and Ray came and we did it with Ray and me and you and Frankie.
Frank Severino.
And that was groovy because Frankie and I were laid back. Ray was out in the point because Ray told us in the beginning. He said, "This first thing he said, I rush when I leave." That's the first thing he told us. He told us that when he first came in, he said, "I rush."
He does.
So Frank and I laid back.
If he knows that, why the fuck does he do that?
That's just the way he plays, I guess. So when we had a good time, we played that time over at that black club we played where he came in from work. The first time he played it on site.
Oh, he can do that.
He played the gig on site.
Oh, he can do that.
And the first time we played it, he sent in the other bass player from out there. And, what was his name? He lived out in the valley. The white dude that was his name.
Jim Ewart?
Jim Ewart, yeah. Then the second time he came himself.
Mm-hmm.
Then the third time with Shelly Mann's, he got Big Ben on the gig.
Big Ben, right.
And they almost strangled you. They were so far out on top. There was no place to sing it.
I know.
And everything was just creeping and Big Ben. And then I saw what happens. Because, you always had to think with Big Ben and Ray and Oscar were together, Big Ben was sort of out of his water a little bit. You know what I mean? But he was following Ray all the time because Ray was the leader in that group.
Uh-huh.
And that stuff was so far out on top. Because I couldn't.
Driving me crazy. I don't like playing with Ray too much. I really don't because of that. And then he has a tendency sometimes when he knows the tune to solo while you're singing.
Oh yeah.
Instead of he drove me crazy. That's not too long enough.
One thing that I was wanting to allow for the company is that for the bass players and the singers because the problem goes all the way around. And I have to go back to the same idea to solve both of them. But to me, the singers, after they get some repertoire together, they should just spend some time, just them and a bass player. Because it teaches those bass players to select notes. That's right.
That's a good idea. I never thought of
Teach the singers more independence and how,
that.
and to teach the bass players how to pick out some notes. Because when they play with drummers, a lot of them, they don't, now they just start to walking. And that covers up a whole lot of, what I mean, not having to select.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean?
They just speak on people.
That's right.
And four, we all know.
So I think we can sneak up on most of the questions, unless, because we did trying to evaluate what a compliment is. But sometimes the other question that I want to ask, which was kind of different, just looking around, the fact that I had to really hit Don to find what it was, because I was listening to a lot of guys play, and a lot of them some really good piano players out there, But it seemed to me that in most cases I heard that the singers were selecting good piano players, principally because there's more demand on the music nowadays. They need conductors and everything. And I was just wondering if a compliment before, if it was more demanding itself than it was today. A compliment itself.
No, I don't think so.
It's not as more demanding.
It's just as demanding as it ever was, which is the maximum.
Maximum.
It was the maximum 20 years ago, and it still is. But things change because you do different types of songs. That has a lot to do with it. Like I do a lot of Brazilian tunes, which really, to make it authentic, you have to really know some Brazilian licks.
This guy that you
still
have
very
right
demanding.
Yeah. One thing that I noticed is you do which I don't know which way it goes, but you do a lot of stuff with him when it comes to the ballads now. A lot of stuff with just him alone.
Yeah.
Which again, really, his skills have to be there, and he gets to just improve them a lot by doing them that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember I was just sitting with Bob. I said, we should see this before. Victor used to come in. Victor used to play with it, And even when you did the up-tempo tunes, you still, when you played by yourself, you played them without the rhythm section.
Yeah.
When we was talking about the bass player and the drummer and stuff like that, I said, I wonder if she does did more ballads with the piano player, because when the sensitivity is not there when the rhythm section comes in.
Well, there's certain songs that I think that only deserve piano.
Yeah.
That the rest, that even though the other two guys are competent and everything, it's just they're lost.
Mm-hmm.
And then it gives me it's a feeling that I have about the tune, that I want as much freedom as possible.
Well, one of the things that's challenging for a bass player in general, and I guess today's bass players, is that, you can do those tunes so slow. I used to have to count in 3. That's two wouldn't get it, because 2 again, I'd be like the drummer. I was subdivided in such a way that it would, it had to be uneven on one end.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have to count 1, 2, 3. 3 beats between each single beat to make it smooth. You know what I mean? So for a bass player, that's the thing about it. They don't know how to move in that thing, move right, and to sustain their notes. That's the thing. They don't listen to every player note that they can listen to, because they're going to stay there with it for a while.
Yeah.
It's challenging.
Very well put. Yeah,
it's challenging.
Yeah.
Now I knew something would be very shocking and revealing.
What?
I didn't know that I might have been the third.
Yeah, I think you're about
third in line.
Number. Yeah. There's Don. I hadn't got him in New York. Then he went to London. My first trip to London, he went with me at. We made an album there. And everything was cool because there was a bass player I knew who I liked, and a drummer who was a dope fiend, but he could play his ass off. I don't remember his name now. He's dead, I think. And so we used those two. So the bass player had a big, huge sound,
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't amplified, there was no amplification there. We did this album over there. And then we came back home. I don't know, I stayed over. I think my last day was in Paris. Somewhere. And then Don went, I don't know, he stayed over too. When he was with the broads, so this shit. You know, I just used to shake my head at it. He be loaded, like you know, when that chick would be carrying him, French girl would be carrying his ass all around.
He's scared to come back over the States now.
He's right. He is fine.
Yeah, I thought he just
His family.
well, no. He just feeling just too much competition. But that just comes from being a long ways off. I told him he could, because he plays good. But he's over there. He told me that. I was over there. He's drinking a little bit because I thought he wasn't drinking at all. But sometimes I guess after the gig or something, he drinks something. But
I wouldn't care if he drank after the gig. He could drink himself under the table after the gig. But he used to drink all night. And it was not right. That's all. It was a drag, in fact. Because if we were doing something slow, you know how to do something in slow ballad, it would go into a hole.
Well, you and Victor were buddies.
Victor's pro. How is he?
I think he's doing pretty good. You know, for a while, he was out there with Clark Terry, and he had his downfall. And again, too, Victor. And I pulled Victor out of Chicago, I think, in our group. And that was a big change for Victor. I didn't realize, because I used to really look up to Victor while we were in Chicago. But, you know, and Victor started drinking then.
He was very inconsistent when we had him. You know, one minute he played his ass, and next minute he'd be playing wrong change.
Yeah. That's right. Victor was, because, you know, when we retired, of course, Ruth Wyatt made a comeback, but the drummer, Fats Hurd, he went back to Cincinnati and took up real estate.
I didn't do that to him.
We made that trip from New York to San Francisco. We finally decided that we needed somebody that could read the music.
That's right.
So we got Fats Hurd and Wyatt Ruth that could read. And by the time we got to Sacramento, when I first met Marion Williams, Happy House, and they had by the time we got out there, that's when you told me. She said, you know, I'd rather have Victor and some feeling than wrong. I'd rather have some wrong notes and some feelings than to have all these right notes and no feeling. Well, I got y'all take it easy. I love you, Carmen. I always will. You are particularly alive in my piano playing, as well as in my heart. I hope that your many fans will enjoy hearing here the bittersweet emotion that was ever present in your voice and your laughter. There will never be another you. One kiss would breathe love's magic flame, and light the embers that remain. So won't you love me? Chase these fears that hound me. There's nothing that could not be ours if you could love me. I wanna find you,